Hey guys, it's Mr. Neese. We're going to talk about TEK US History SE 4E. Okay, so 4E says analyze the impact of machine guns, airplanes, tanks, poison gas, and trench warfare as significant technological innovations in World War One on the Western Front. So, big understanding with World War One. There's a lot of new technology that's being used in combat and war. And this SE is really wanting you to kind of understand that and the trench warfare that's so associated with World War One and the Western Front. So, start with machine guns. Machine guns, new technology, rapid fire weapon. It changes the complexion of the war, changes the complexion of how people fight. You can discharge so many bullets at once, okay, or in a very short succession. So, very definitely a killing machine. All right. Airplanes for reconnaissance, for flying over and seeing what's going on, or for dropping things off out of it, or for fighting each other, okay? So you get aerial combat. This is all new because planes didn't really exist before this, but now they're being used for something like this. And then you get tanks, okay? Tanks is a new technology. You have very small single tanks for penetrating trenches, trench lines, or no man's land. We'll talk about that in a second. To the much larger personnel carriers. They still haven't quite reached what we see them as today because it's a new technology, but it is a new technology being used during this time. Poison gas, something we're not into now. Chemical weapons is a nasty thing, but it was a new thing then, and it was something that was used constantly. So you will see people with gas masks. If you look up photos and images, it was definitely a severe threat and not a pleasant way to die if you got caught up in that poison gas. Okay, so last but not least, let's talk about trench warfare. This is digging a line in the dirt, getting in the dirt, and your opponent on the other end of what we call the no man's land, an area you don't want to get into because you're going to get shot. And on that other end, there's another trench, and they're pointing guns at you, and you're pointing guns at them. And this creates a stalemate. Okay, there's not a lot of movement, a lot of death. Conditions aren't good in the ground, okay? Muddy, rats, trench foot, your feet start to rot off from all the moisture and conditions. Living with the rats, like I said, not a pleasant way to spend your time. And there's not a lot of movement in these lines. It kind of embeds the fighting down to certain areas, and it's a new thing. In this kind of combat, it was used a little bit before this in some other wars, but this is where it's explosively used widely, and it's what is probably one of the more commonly known as being part of World War I. So that covers 4E. Hopefully that helps you in your tutorial.